Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic, and today I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I cannot be any more grateful. It's Friday night. That means our Friday night crosstalk meeting is happening tonight, 5747 East Pea Ridge Road in Huntington, West Virginia. Pea Ridge United Methodist Church is the location. If you're local to the Huntington, West Virginia area, come on down and hang out with a group of drunks and drug addicts sitting around talking about how we all got sober, how we're planning on staying that way. The quickest hour in recovery begins tonight at 7 o'clock. We'll see you there. Did you ever get a disconnect notice in your mailbox one day? Hell, you get a bill and you ignore it. You get a disconnect notice and you'd ignore it. I look back at my own personal history, my drinking history, and I can't tell you the number of times that I'd get the bill in the mail. I'd be drunk. I'd get the bill in the mail and I would ignore it. Then I'd get the disconnect notice in the mail and, well, hell, I would ignore that disconnect notice too. And then I'd wake up a couple of days later and go, why do I not have electricity? Why do I not have, cable? Why do I not have water? Shit would get shut off because I was ignoring the disconnect notices. Fortunately, I came into the rooms of recovery. I made a connection with like-minded individuals, people with whom I shared a common problem. But most importantly, they were able to share with me a very valuable and life-saving solution. And I got things turned around. But even now, even in my recovery, I still see people that ignore those disconnect notices. Now, I'm not talking about bills. I'm not talking about their utilities or anything like that. I'm talking about the recovery. See, you ask anybody in recovery that has relapsed, and I can look at my own personal history every time I relapse, and every single person I've ever talked to that has relapsed, they all say relatively the same thing. I stopped going to meetings. I stopped maintaining that connection, that network of like-minded individuals. I stopped reading my big book. I stopped studying. I stopped practicing principles. I started disconnecting. They ignored those disconnect notice, so to speak, and then they ended up relapsing. They disconnected from their recovery. And you may ask yourself, what does that disconnect notice look like inside of recovery? It could be a plethora of things. It could be something as simple as, gee, you know what? I'm tired. I'm on my way home from work. I'm tired today, and I just really feel like not going to that meeting. I'm just going to go home and crash. I was in the same situation. Just yesterday. I was tired from work, and I wasn't going to go to a meeting. And I said, you know what? Nope, I'm going to go to a meeting. In my experience, I found out that the meetings I don't want to go to or don't feel like going to are the exact meetings I need to be at. Another way you could see or view that disconnect notice, so to speak, is when you become irritable, restless, and discontented. When things start bothering you, you just can't seem to rationalize. When things start bugging you, you got that proverbial thorn in the side, and you're short-tempered, quick to anger. Maybe you say things that are out of character. When you start doing those things, that could be a disconnect notice. Hey, maybe you're not as plugged into the rooms as what you think you are. Maybe you're not as connected to that network of like-minded individuals, those people who are there to support you and hold you accountable. Maybe this is a warning sign that you probably need to be paying attention to. Even today, and I'm coming up, by the grace of God, I'm coming up on 4 years of my sobriety. Even today, I still have to pay attention to those disconnect notices. Whenever I do start getting irritable, restless, and discontented, whenever I do start, have a quick fuse, a short fuse, if you will, quick to anger, I start saying things out of character, and especially when I start thinking, oh, I don't need to go to that meeting. I don't need to go to this meeting. I don't need to go do this service work. Now I'm tired, or I got all this other stuff going on. Those are telltale signs to me, hey, you're getting ready to disconnect. You're getting ready to lose that connection with like-minded individuals. That is one of the most important things you can have whenever you do come into a recovery program, is to create that social support network of people who understand you and that you understand, because those are the very people that I rely upon to hold me accountable, to keep me in check, to make sure I don't get out of character and I don't start doing things that could ultimately lead me back to that life that I'm trying so desperately to get away from. At the end of the day, pay attention to those disconnect notices. Pay attention to those little signs. And don't get upset whenever somebody comes to you, one of your friends or somebody you know, that they come to you and they say, hey, look, I noticed you said this, and that's usually not what you say. It's not something you would say. Or I noticed you've done that. Don't get upset with them. Be thankful. Thank them for making you aware. Thank them for showing you, holding that disconnect notice up in front of you, because ultimately that could be the very action that pulls you out of the rooms completely, pulls you away from your your social support network completely and ultimately leads you on the road to relapse. And that is something that none of us ever want to see. So with that being said, I'll let you guys go. Thank you for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys keep me sober, and I cannot be any more appreciative. We'll be talking again soon, guys. Remember, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.